Captain Joel Thorne walked into the strange alien restaurant with tired eyes and an empty stomach. His boots were dusty from the red sand of the planet Korvac 7, and his shoulders ached after another long mission for the Human Alliance. He didn't care about fancy food or alien flavors. He just wanted something to eat fast. The place looked clean, but odd. The lights glowed green, and the air smelled like sweet oil and old metal. Strange music played softly. Alien customers with long fingers, glowing eyes, and slimy skin sat at tables, eating in silence. No one looked at Joel. That was fine with him. A thin alien waiter approached. His skin was dark purple, and his smile sharp. "Welcome, human," the waiter hissed politely. "Would you like the special?" Joel sat down and nodded. "I'll take the rarest steak you've got." The waiter grinned wider. "Excellent choice. Very fresh." Joel didn't care what species the meat came from. He was used to strange alien food during missions. He just wanted protein, maybe something with spice. He leaned back in his seat and let his eyes close for a moment. 10 minutes later, the waiter returned with a large silver tray. He placed it gently on the table and whispered, "Enjoy." Joel sat up and looked at the tray. A silver lid covered the meal. He reached out and lifted it and froze. It was not a steak. Lying on the tray, curled up and shaking, was a girl. An alien girl. She was young, maybe in her late teens, her skin a soft pale blue, and her silver hair messy and damp. She wore nothing but thin cloth wrappings barely covering her. Her hands were tied. Her large, tear-filled eyes stared up at Joel. She was breathing, shivering. Alive. Joel single quotes his heart stopped. He looked around, but no one reacted. Other guests kept eating. The waiter just stood there, watching him with that same sharp smile. "What the hell is this?" Joel growled, standing up. "You asked for rare," the waiter said calmly. "She's fresh, raised for consumption. Would you like seasoning?" Joel grabbed the tablecloth and threw it over the girl. She flinched, then peeked up, eyes wide with fear. "I'm not eating anyone," Joel snapped. "Untie her." "Now." The waiter's smile vanished. "You cannot take her. Once served, she is your property, yes, but only to eat, not to keep." Joel stepped back, lifting the girl in his arms. She was light as a feather and cold to the touch. The alien girl whimpered softly, "Please, don't eat me." "I'm not going to," Joel whispered. "You're safe now." Gasps came from nearby tables. Someone stood and shouted in alien tongue. A guard moved toward him. Joel didn't wait. He kicked over a chair and ran out of the restaurant, holding the girl tightly against his chest. He burst through the doors into the dark, wet streets of the alien city. Rain poured down from a purple sky. Thunder rumbled in the distance. He ducked into an alley, his breath heavy, his heart racing. The girl was still shaking, still afraid. He looked down at her. "What's your name?" She stared at him then whispered, "Rin." "Okay, Rin, you're safe now." "I'm Joel. I'm human. I don't eat people." She looked confused, but there was a small flicker of hope in her eyes. Joel took off his jacket and wrapped it around her. "Let's get out of here." As they moved quietly through the alley, a voice echoed from behind. It was the restaurant owner, shouting something in alien language. More voices joined in. Then a warning. "You'll regret this, human," the voice growled. "She is cursed meat." Joel didn't stop. He looked down at Rin. Whatever she was, whoever she was, he knew one thing for sure. She wasn't food, she was a person, and he was going to protect her. No matter what. Asterisk. Rain slammed hard against the metal roof of Joel's small ship, hidden deep in Bay 17. Outside, alien voices searched the streets, shouting orders and threats in languages he didn't understand. Inside, Joel locked the hatch, dropped his wet coat, and gently placed Rin on the padded bench near the cockpit. Her Pale blue skin was covered in goosebumps. She sat silently, still wrapped in the tablecloth, eyes wide like a cornered animal. Joel knelt down in front of her. "I need to know who you are," he said softly. "What were they going to do to you?" Rin stared at him, lips trembling. For a moment, she said nothing. Then, her voice came out like a whisper made of glass. "They grow us." Joel frowned. "Grow you?" She nodded slowly, tears forming in her silver eyes. "In tubes, not born, just meat. Pretty meat, soft, weak, for rich aliens. Special dish. They call us live steaks." Joel's stomach turned. He sat back, stunned. "That's insane. They told us. Never speak, never scream. Only breathe until eaten." Rin's body shook as she pulled her knees to her chest. "You're not like them," she whispered. "You didn't eat me." Joel ran a hand through his hair. "No, I didn't, and I never will." He stood and began pacing. "What kind of place feeds living girls to customers? How is that legal here?" Just then, a loud knock echoed from the outside of the ship, 3 hard bangs. Joel's eyes narrowed. He pulled out his plasma pistol from under the console. "Stay here," he told Rin. He crept to the door and peeked through the ship's side window. A tall figure in dark armor stood outside in the shadows. Not a guard. Not a cop. This one looked military. The figure held up a small glowing card and shouted, "Captain Joel Thorne, you have something that doesn't belong to you." Joel didn't answer. The voice continued, deeper this time. "Return the girl, or the syndicate will take her back, piece by piece." Joel clenched his jaw. He looked back at Rin. She was watching him with fear, but also hope. The hope that maybe, just maybe, someone would protect her. Joel raised his voice. "She's not food. She's a person." The armored figure laughed. "She's a product. Enjoyed once, then discarded. That's all she is." Joel didn't hesitate. He slammed the window shut and turned on the ship's defense shield. He sat beside Rin again. "I'm not giving you back, not to them, not to anyone." Her voice cracked. "They will come. They always come." Joel gave a small smile. "Then let them." He stood and moved to the controls. "Strap in. We're lifting off." As the engines roared to life, Rin looked out the window, hands shaking. She had never left the city. Never left the dark kitchens where they kept her. She wasn't even sure what the sky really looked like. But tonight, a strange human had ordered steak, and instead took her freedom, for the first time in her short, broken life. She whispered something she had never dared to say. "Thank you." Joel didn't hear it, but he felt it. Deep in his bones. The ship floated in silent orbit, hidden behind one of Korvac 7's shattered moons. Inside, the hum of the engines was soft like a heartbeat. Joel sat at the control panel, staring at nothing. His mind couldn't stop replaying that moment when the silver lid lifted and revealed her. Rynn. The girl who was supposed to be a meal. Behind him, wrapped in a warm blanket, Rin sat on the floor with her legs pulled close to her chest. She was quiet, but her eyes scanned everything: walls, doors, lights, as if expecting someone to hurt her at any second. Joel finally broke the silence. "Rin," he said without turning, "I need to know the truth. All of it." Her voice came after a long pause, soft but steady. "You won't like it. Try me." She took a shaky breath. "We weren't born," she began. "We were made, cloned in secret vats, programmed with only 3 things: obedience, silence, and fear." Joel turned to face her now. "You're telling me they built you like livestock?" Rin nodded slowly. "We were taught not to think, just exist. Pretty skin, soft hair, sweet scent. That's what they wanted. Perfect flavor. They tested our blood like seasoning. If it was too bitter, we were burned. If it was perfect, we were put on the tray." Joel's jaw tightened. "You're not meat. You're not a product. But I wasn't supposed to live this long, she said, hugging herself. My tray was prepared 3 times. Twice I was taken back wrong customer. Wrong payment. The 3rd time was you. Joel leaned forward. Do you know who made you? She shook her head. The place was underground, no windows. Only bright lights and cold hands. Joel stood up and walked to the small locker where he kept emergency gear. He pulled out a CUM device and began scanning frequencies. I need to contact someone. He muttered. Someone who might know about this kind of black market cloning. As the device crackled, Rin whispered, They will come for me. You should let me go. It will be safer for you. Joel looked at her sharply. Safer isn't better. And letting them win isn't an option. Just then, the CUM lit up. A voice came through, gravelly, grumpy, but human. Joel? You haven't called in years, Joel smirked. Good to hear you too, Dr. Marn. I need intel on a group that creates live clones for meat. Female, alien, specifically pale blue types. There was a pause. Then the doctor said, low and serious, You've stepped into the Harvest Syndicate, my friend. And if they know you took one of their dishes. Joel glanced at Rin. They know, he said. Then run, Marn warned. Run far and fast. And don't look back. But Joel didn't run. He turned off the CUM and looked at Rin, who, for the first time, wasn't shaking. You're not a dish, Rin, he said. You're a key. We just don't know what you unlock yet. Outside the window, in the black of space, a small red light blinked. Someone had found them. The hunt had begun. The ship's alarm screamed. Not a soft warning, a full red alert shriek. Joel jumped from his seat. On the screen, a blinking dot turned into 3 fast-moving enemy ships, closing in like hunters smelling blood. They found us, he muttered. Rin stood frozen near the back wall, her fingers gripping the blanket around her. They always find us, she whispered. Joel's fingers flew over the controls. Hold tight. The ship dove down toward the planet fast and wild. Flames streaked across the window as they entered the atmosphere of Korvac 7 again. Inside the cockpit, Rin clutched the edge of the seat, eyes wide, breathing hard. Joel gritted his teeth. I hope you don't hate running. The ship slammed into a rooftop landing pad in the slums of the lower city. Joel grabbed Rin's hand and yanked the emergency lever. The hatch blew open. They ran, down narrow metal stairs, through steam-filled alleys, past alien beggars and blinking neon lights. The streets smelled like rust and smoke. Giant trash bots rumbled past. Alien voices shouted over broken speakers. Rin struggled to keep up. She had never run before. Her legs were weak from a lifetime of cages, but she didn't let go of Joel's hand. Behind them, a high-pitched sound echoed, tracking drones. Small, fast, and deadly. Joel pulled her into a side alley and pushed open a metal gate. Inside was an old fish market, now abandoned and full of rotting crates. They ducked behind a stack just as 2 drones zipped past the alley entrance. Rin collapsed to her knees, gasping for breath. Joel knelt beside her, checking her pulse. You okay? She nodded weakly. They won't stop. Until I'm gone. Joel touched her shoulder. No, until they're gone. Suddenly, a loud clang. A shadow moved behind the crates. Joel aimed his pistol. A figure stepped out short, furry with goggles over his eyes. Don't shoot, human. The creature squeaked. I'm not with them. Joel narrowed his eyes. Then who are you? I'm Phoebo. I know who she is. Joel raised an eyebrow. You do? Phoebo nodded, eyes wide. She's not just meat. She's not even just cloned. Her kind was royalty, long ago, before the Syndicate erased their name. Joel turned to Rin. Is that true? She stared at Phoebo, confused. I don't know who I was. I only know the cage. Phoebo stepped forward. The one you carry, the spiral mark behind your left. It's the royal crest of House Nishala. Joel's voice dropped. A lost bloodline. That would make her worth more than just meat. Phoebo nodded. She's not just rare. She's dangerous to them. If she lives, others will ask questions. If she speaks, truth spreads. Joel stood. Then we protect her. Just then, a beam of light lit up the market. A drone had returned. Run! Joel shouted. They dashed into the alley again, Phoebo leading the way through tight tunnels and dark corridors. But they all knew this wasn't just escape anymore. This was war, and Rin wasn't just a girl now, she was a spark, and the syndicate was terrified of what she might ignite. The hideout smelled like burnt wires and old machine oil. Deep below the city, in an old subway tunnel long forgotten by the surface, Joel, Rin, and Phoebo sat in silence. The air was thick. Water dripped from broken pipes. Their footsteps had stopped hours ago, but Joel knew eyes were still watching from somewhere above. Rin sat curled on a pile of blankets. Her skin looked paler than before. Her breath was shallow. Something was wrong. Joel noticed it too. "You're not healing right," he said, kneeling beside her. "I feel cold," she whispered. Phoebo shuffled over, carrying a dusty med scanner in his small hands. "Let me check her." He pressed the scanner to Rin's arm. It beeped then. Glitched. It tried again and again, until it finally flashed red. Joel frowned. "What does that mean?" Phoebo stared at the screen, his fur bristling. "Her cells, they're not normal. They're regenerating, but not like any species I've seen. It's like her body's trying to fix itself constantly, even when it's not injured." Joel leaned in. "What are you saying?" Phoebo gulped. "Her blood isn't just rare, it's powerful." Rin blinked slowly. "They used to take it, in small vials. The scientists said it helped them sleep, helped them heal. I never knew why." Phoebo's voice dropped to a whisper. "It's not just healing. This is biogenic plasma. It can reset dying cells, reverse infection, maybe even stop aging. If the syndicate has been using her blood in small doses, they're not just selling meat. They're selling life." Joel stood, heart racing. "That's why they won't stop. That's why they called her cursed meat. Not because she's dangerous to eat, but because she's too valuable to lose." Phoebo nodded slowly. "And if the Federation finds out what's in her blood, the syndicate's entire black market collapses." Joel stared at Rin. She was barely staying awake. Her body was burning energy too fast. "She needs help now," he said, "not just hiding." Phoebo scratched his head. "I know one place. A biohospital, run by rogue medics, but it's far. Deep in neutral territory. Can they save her?" "If anyone can," Phoebo said, "it's them. But we'll need to steal a ship from the upper docks. And they'll know we're coming." Joel looked at Rin, this girl who was never supposed to speak, never supposed to live past the tray. And yet she now held a cure inside her blood. He made a choice. "Then we fly," he said. "No more running. We save her, and we burn their secrets to the ground." Above them, distant footsteps echoed through the tunnels. The syndicate was closing in, but so was the truth. And Rin was no longer just a victim. She was the weapon they never saw coming. The shipyard lights flickered in the storm. Wind howled through the metallic arches of Dronik spaceport, and thunder cracked in the sky like a warning. Dock workers shouted in different languages. Cargo bots zipped by on magnetic rails. It was chaos, but Joel liked chaos. It gave him cover. He kept Rin close, wrapped in a thick cloak, her face hidden. Phoebo walked ahead, tiny legs quick, leading them through the back paths of the station. "Pad 91, Phoebo said. "My contact is waiting. We fly straight to the neutral zone. No stops." Joel nodded. "She's fading fast." "We don't have time." Rin didn't speak. Her skin was colder now, her energy fading. But her eyes still held that small flicker of trust. When they reached Dock 91, a sleek silver ship waited, engines warm, hatch open. And standing beside it, Dr. Marn. Joel froze. "You said you were off-world." Marn smiled too calmly. "I lead." Joel narrowed his eyes. "You got my message." "You know what she is." Marn nodded. "Yes, and so does everyone else now." Before Joel could speak again, armed guards stepped out from behind the ship, black armor, syndicate emblems, glowing red. Rin stepped back, panic in her breath. "They found us." Joel pulled out his pistol, aiming at Marn. "You sold us out," Joel growled. Marn shrugged. "You think you're the first idiot who tried to save a dish? She's not a girl, she's a resource. And the price on her head can buy 10 planets." Phoebo hissed, trying to duck behind a crate. "Told you not to trust anyone in a lab coat." Joel fired first. The guards fired back. Lasers lit the dock like fireworks, red bolts flying, metal panels sparking, alarms blaring. Joel grabbed Rin and ran toward the side gate. Phoebo followed, pulling a smoke bomb from his belt and tossing it behind them. A thick gray cloud filled the air. Through the smoke, Joel heard Marn shouting, "Get her! Do not damage the body!" Joel's mind screamed, but he kept running. They burst into a maintenance tunnel, the sound of boots chasing close behind. "Rin!" Joel shouted over the echo. "Stay awake, you hear me?" She nodded weakly. I trust you." He kicked open a side hatch and found an old escape skiff barely functional, but fast. Phoebo jumped in first, pressing wires together with his tiny hands. "I can get this flying, but only one jump." Joel placed Rin gently in the passenger seat and sat beside her. As the engines sputtered to life, guards appeared at the tunnel door. Joel hit the launch. The skiff blasted forward through a narrow tube, smashing through a rusted gate and into the stars. They were free, for now. Rin leaned her head on Joel's shoulder, voice barely above a breath. "They all wanted my blood. But you gave me something more. You gave me a name." Joel stared at the stars. "No," he whispered. "You gave yourself that. Now let's finish what they started." The med ship floated in orbit above a quiet moon. Inside, white lights hummed gently. Clean walls, soft air, no cages. No chains, no fear. Rin lay on a padded recovery bed, her skin no longer cold, her breathing steady. She wore real clothes, soft fabric, not wrappings. For the first time in her life, she wasn't hidden, owned, or hunted. She was alive. Joel stood beside her, arms crossed, watching the monitors. It had been 6 days since the escape. The rogue medics, part of a hidden human aid network, had worked around the clock. They drew her blood, tested it, and confirmed what Joel suspected. Her blood held the key. It could heal organ damage, cure space fever, even reverse aging in some cells. Rin wasn't just rare. She was hope, but she didn't smile when they told her. She just asked, "Will they still try to eat me?" Joel sat beside her. "Not anymore. You're not meat. You're a miracle." She blinked slowly. "Then why?" "Do I still feel scared?" He took her hand gently. "Because they broke you for so long, but now it's your turn to break them." That evening, Joel stood in front of the Human Federation's Emergency Council, broadcasting across 5 systems. Doctors and officials watched silently as he showed them everything Rin scans, the labs they escaped, the syndicate's crimes. When the presentation ended, there was a long silence. Then a high-ranking official said, "This girl's life will change everything." Joel nodded. "That's the point." He returned to her room hours later. She was sitting up, watching the stars through the window. "They're calling you the Starburn Cure now," he said. Rin turned to him, her voice calm. "I don't want to be a symbol." "Then what do you want to be?" She looked into his eyes. "Just Rin, a girl who lived." He smiled. "You're more than that. You're the reason others will live too." Just then, Phoebo barged in with 2 fruit drinks and a grin. "You two better be ready. There's a line of med ships asking for donations and a line of news drones trying to name you Galactic Hero." Rin laughed for the first time. It was soft, unsure. But real. Joel looked at her and said, "You were served as food. Now they'll serve your name in every history book." Rin whispered, "They gave me a cage, but you gave me the sky." Outside the window, stars shimmered. Rin wasn't a meal anymore. She was a miracle. And this time, the galaxy was watching.